I was definitely not the smartest guy in school. Like, I was taking olive oil shots at camp this year, so that tells you a lot. But I still managed to graduate with the highest grades in my year. And you could say it's hard work, but a lot of people work hard. Instead, I would say there were 3 main techniques or lifestyle choices that gave me and can give you an unfair advantage. The first spicy tip is understanding the system. So there was this time where I got D+ for this essay assignment that we had to do back in year 8. And that kind of really pissed me off because I worked like really hard for it. But my friend John, and no offense to him, but I felt like he didn't study at all. Like, he didn't even know about it until the day before. And he ended up with an A. And of course I was happy for him. I don't have anything against him. But I was like, okay, there must be something that I was missing. And John was actually a really good friend. He actually let me have a look at his essay so I could see like where the marks were allocated. And so I was looking through his essay, and when I saw that we both had the same level of English proficiency, so the same basic English skills like grammar, punctuation, whatever. But the main difference was that he wrote way less than me. And also, he specifically just focused on the points the assessor or the teacher wanted to see. And this may sound obvious, but it was a huge mindset shift for me at the time. And so I learned a very important lesson, which is that being good at English is different from being good at English exams. And so this applies to other subjects as well. Like, being good at biology is different from being good at biology exams. Being good at maths is different from being good at maths exams. Now, obviously there's some correlation. You can't be a dumbass. You have to know the content. But there comes an eventual stage where if you want to get straight A's, it comes down to how well you can do exams. And in other words, how well do you understand what the assessors are looking for? That's the important thing. And so let me give you an actionable step right now that you can use to boost your grades. So look at sample essays, responses, or answers and compare it to your own to understand what the teachers are looking for. And for essay writing, the way I improved was I literally went line by line what my friend wrote and compared it to what I wrote. And I looked for improvements that way. And then for subjects like science or maths, I would study the answer guide for every practice exam I got, even more than the content itself, because this way I could understand from the working out what I had to show to get full marks for each question. And doing this helped me improve my exam game tremendously. Otherwise, you'll just end up like me in year 8, where you work super hard for an assessment, and when you get results back, you look at it and you end up hating yourself. The next tip, I guarantee you, will save you so much time that people think you don't study at all, when in fact you're just incredibly efficient. And this tip is called eating the frog. And no, you don't actually have to eat a frog unless you're into that. But the basic idea here is the first thing you should do each morning is the hardest, most difficult task. That is like eating the frog. For example, if you have an exam coming up, rather than focusing on, for example, textbook questions, you would focus on making a good set of summary notes or on doing as many practice papers as possible. And this is important because we often always delay the most important or the most difficult task. And it's counterproductive because we just end up feeling more and more anxious by not doing it in the first place. So instead, if the first thing we do in the morning is to smash out whatever this hardest task is, then we'll feel such a good sense of accomplishment for the rest of the day. And for most cases, you're done. You don't have to do anything else. And young Julian thought that just because he spent so much time studying, he should get higher grades than everyone else. But obviously that wasn't the case, because he spent all his time working on these low quality tasks like reading the textbook instead of actually eating the frog. And look, I used to be one of those students who would study for like 10 hours a day because I didn't do the most important task. Instead, I would just open the textbook, pretend to like read it, and take breaks every 10 minutes and call it the Pomodoro technique. And having been this type of brain dead student before, whenever I hear someone say they've studied for 10 hours, what they actually mean is that they've done the easiest task they could find that would actually help them the least, instead of actually having the courage to smash out the most important task you have to do. So answer this in your head right now. Which student are you? The final hack, which is more of a lifestyle choice that really boosted my study efficiency, is intermittent fasting. So before we study and eat the frog, we want to make sure we don't eat anything beforehand, because most people don't realize how much energy the body uses just to digest food, especially when the first thing you wake up is to eat sugary cereal, Fruit Loops, whatever, with a side of orange juice, which is basically just sugar water with no fiber. Like, your brain becomes cooked. And I used to make this mistake as well. Like, I'll be reading a book and I'll be rereading the same sentence because I just can't process it. And this is also especially evident when I'm studying and I can't focus and I just get all these random intruding thoughts popping to my head because I just had like a massive sugary meal beforehand. Now, if you don't believe me, try this tomorrow morning. As soon as you wake up, maybe go for a little walk, drink some water, but then go straight to work. And you'll notice that your brain will be much sharper than usual, and your memory is also much better. And you'll easily breeze through any task that you have to do, especially eating the frog. And just think about it, if you're doing this, waking up, no food, straight to work, and your competition is eating Fruit Loops before they study, you'll absolutely dominate these people. And there's this saying that I really like, which is an hour before 9 is worth 2 after 5, which is essentially saying in the morning around 9, your brain is still fresh, but by 5, your brain is already fried from a day of school, lunch, or whatever. So play it smart. Eat the frog first thing in the morning. That way you don't always have this task at the back of your mind somewhere that's haunting you throughout the day, which will probably make you feel much less stressed and fulfilled anyways. And so the tips in this video are not only meant to help you get straight A's, but also help you become a more healthier and happier student. Because I don't know about you, but every time I talk to someone at school, they seem to be just complaining about something. Like everyone is unhappy and depressed. But you can be the opposite, positive, stress-free, where lots of people want to be around you because you're not complaining about life. That's what I want for you.